Hey guys, poker blog number 4. Um, Tonight we actually booked a win. Bought in for 300. The blinds were 1-3. Um, I think my second or third hand I had pocket jacks, and there was a straddle in front of me. I want to say there was a $6 straddle. Because basically the way we play is 6, 12, and then 20 is cap. So this game actually plays bigger than a 1-3. Typically, people are buying in between 300 and 1,000. Typically, most is between 3 and 500. But anyway, the guy in front of me had raised it 100 pre-flop, and he had just lost a huge hand. I want to say he lost $1,000 the hand before, and he just rebought. So I think he's kind of steaming. I might be wrong, but he had raised 100 pre-flop. There was probably, I don't know, 6 people in the hand that had called the $6 straddle. He was directly to my right, and once he raised $100, I basically had 300 behind. I don't really want to call the 100, so I'm forced with either folding pre-flop or shoving all in. I let him shove all in, and we run it twice. He didn't show what he had, so I really don't know what he had. The second board ended up getting trip jack, so I'm not sure what he had. I'm guessing he had maybe something less than jacks, maybe 10s or 9s, somewhere in there, 8s maybe. So after that hand, I go from 300 to 600. And then I have a hand. I want to say I was in the blind. I just had something. No, I think I had ace 2 suited of spades. And I want to say the high card on the flop was a 10. I'm not sure. For whatever reason, it gets checked around on the flop. Then on the I really don't know what this was, but anyway, there was an ace on the turn, and I want to say I bet the ace. I bet a small bet, and I want to say 2 callers called me, and on the turn is a 2, and it's me who's in early position, another guy who's in middle position, and another guy on the button. Well, it gets checked around, and this wasn't a heart, so there was no flush out there. But basically, it gets checked. I check it, the next guy checks it, and the guy in the big blind bets 150, which is a pretty big bet, and to me, kind of bluffy. He might have just been trying to steal the pot, buy the pot. I'm not sure exactly what the pot was. It was probably around 200. But anyway, I called and I win with 2 pair. The other guy had ace 10. He had ace 10. No. So there wasn't a 10 on the board, but because he would have won. But I'm not sure what this card was. But anyway, I ended up winning with 2 pair, and other guy did have ace 10, but there wasn't a 10 on the flop. There was something lower, I think. But anyway, I won. So I just doubled up. I want to go from 300 to 600, and then I win a $200 pot that really I had no business winning, but I got lucky on the river. There was another hand that I had king queen suited, and the flop was something like 9-10 jack rainbow. I mean, I flopped the absolute nuts. I can't remember what I bet. I want to say I bet 35 on the flop. I want to say I made it 30 pre-flop or something, and I got 2 callers. And like I said, I flopped the nuts. Then on the turn comes an ace of hearts, and I want to say the pot was probably 150, somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure how much the pot was, but I want to say it was probably close to 200. Let me see. I had raised 30 pre-flop. I got 2 callers, so that's 90. And then I do another 35 on the flop. That's another 90. So the flop, there was probably 200 in the pot. And on the turn here, I overbet and I bet 300. That was an overbet considering I got the nuts. There's no hand that beats me. But I was worried about the heart. I didn't want to bet too light and someone get lucky. There was 2 other people in the hand, so it was possible that one of the 2 players has 2 hearts. And maybe I overbet. Maybe I should have just done 150, and maybe the guy to my left says that I missed out on $100. That he would have paid me off. But anyway, I think it's better to win a small pot than lose a big one. So I got the best hand, and I'm betting it, and I'm protecting my hand. And if someone wants to draw 2 hearts, let them pay for it. So anyway, I win another $200 pot. So I got 600, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I'm at 1,000, and this is less than 2 hours in the plan. There was another hand that I had the absolute nuts. I can't remember exactly, but there was one hand that I had. We were doing a bomb pot. And I had something like pocket nines, and one board was like 6, 7, 8, but they were different. Of course, they weren't all in the same suit. One was like 6, 7, 8, and the other one was 9 something something. Basically, I had an open and a straight draw on both boards. So I'm not exactly, I can't remember exactly, but anyway, the guy ended up having the absolute nuts. He had on one board there was like 3 8s. Going to the turn there was 3 8s. He had one of the 8s, so he had quad 8s on one board, and he had a straight on the second board. And all I had on the flop was 2 open-ended straight draws. Well, a pair of 9s and 2 open-ended straight draws. I think I picked up third nine on the turn on one of the boards, but he goes all in for like 500 or 600 on the turn. I called his 100 on the flop. I want to say I bet 50, and I think he raised it up to maybe 125. I called him. Then on the turn, he basically goes all in blind and went all in for 500 or 600. And I fold, and it was a good fold because I would have gone broke. There was another hand I had Ace King, and someone had made it 15 pre-flop, and I had bumped it up to 100, 100 on top, so maybe 115, and I got three callers, and the board was ace, and there was two diamonds out there. I can't remember exactly what they were, but I had, like I said, I had the ace, and I had the nut diamond draw, and maybe I could have slow played it a little bit more. I think I ended up betting 200 on the flop, and both players folded. So that was a $300 pot because I had made it 100 pre-flop, and two people had called me. So then I was up to 1,200. So here I buy in for 300, and I'm up to 12. So I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. And then all of a sudden, I kept getting pretty good hands, and raising probably 20 or 30 pre-flop, and sometimes I would hit the flop, and sometimes I would not. And I think I made a couple big laydowns, but it ended up costing me, and I was just slowly bleeding, and I played pretty loose near the end, and I probably should not have been in as many hands as I was. But there is a player that I like to play against who has a lot of money, and he pretty much plays almost any two cards. So sometimes I'll play a hand even though I really shouldn't, just to play with him. And but anyway, next thing I know, I'm down to 600, and I call it quits. I've come in with 300. I was up to 1,200. I'm down to 6. Yeah, I could have stayed, maybe got my money back or whatever, but I'd already doubled my money. So yeah, it's disappointing. I left. I could have walked away with 1,200, and instead I only walk away with 600. But just like in stocks, I mean, a win's a win. I mean, yeah, you coulda, shoulda, woulda, but I got there around 8. I played to about 10. Played 2 hours. Went from 300 to the 1,200, and then had a couple hands where I was just losing $100, several hands in a row, and that was when it was time for me to go. Anyway, thank you for listening.